I have to start at the beginning. Donald Trump has won the nomination, and he is the all but the presumptive nominee. It's all but over. John Kasich stepped down today. He suspended his campaign. Nobody ever just quits their campaign. They suspend their campaign. John Kasich has suspended his campaign, and it's left Ted Cruz is gone, and that has left Donald Trump by himself to be the leader of the Republican Party. I rarely buy the Boston Herald here in Boston, but I had to buy the Boston Herald today. The front cover of the Boston Herald was basically, this is his party now. Speaking about Donald Trump, the Republican Party belongs to Donald Trump. And the reason I want to talk about him is because I believe Democrats are making a fatal mistake. I believe Democrats are making a fatal mistake underestimating how, I don't want to say effective, because I don't think he's effective. I don't think Donald Trump is super talented. I don't think that Donald Trump is, I don't have a high opinion of Donald Trump. However, I am not going to underestimate his ability to rally a lot of people and possibly win the White House. And I think that's wisdom. I think if you go into this with any other attitude, then you may underestimate Trump to your peril, and he may very well come out with the win on this. And I think Democrats are getting overly confident with their ability to label Donald Trump as a racist, to label him as a sexist, to label him as a misogynist, to label him as all of these things. They feel like they can adequately portray Trump as this terrible person, because let's be honest, I think Trump is a terrible person. But I don't think they realize that this attack has not worked on him. This attack, I don't think, is going to work on him. I think Donald Trump is going to be able to survive any criticism of his character, because he's lived his entire adult life, at least, in the public eye. Everybody knows about his bankruptcies. Everybody knows about his marital issues. Everyone knows about all of the failed businesses that he's had, not just the bankrupt businesses, but the businesses that just flopped, that were, they may not have gone bankrupt, but they certainly were not a success. Everyone knows about, I think the only thing that's outstanding is a Trump University lawsuit. I think that's the only thing that's outstanding. Other than that, I think he has been exposed plenty. And I'm looking at a lot of the communications coming out of the Democratic Party. I'm looking at a lot of things that's being said by Hillary Clinton. I'm looking at a lot of things that are being said by her surrogates, and they are expecting to be able to run this campaign against Donald Trump, first of all, as if the nomination has been wrapped up on the Democratic side, right? That's the first thing. They are trying to pivot to the general election, trying to ignore the fact that Bernie Sanders just won Indiana last night, but now they're also casting their plans. They're transmitting their plans for 2016, for the November. And they're doing so by essentially saying they're going with an identity politics platform. And if you look at the negative ratings, let's talk about it this way. If you look at the negative ratings of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, both of them have negative approval ratings of over 50%. So we're dealing with, if Hillary Clinton manages to pull off this nomination, we would be dealing with two of the most unpopular nominees running for president in a very long time, if not in history. I think as far, at least in the last 64 years on the Republican Party side. So we're talking about, and this is what's amazing. We're honestly sitting here talking about which candidate can convince America that they are not as bad as the other one, or more precisely, that the other one is worse than them. That's what we're dealing with. And That's the type of campaign season that we would be facing with a Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. And I think Democrats are grossly underestimating, grossly overestimating their abilities to cast a narrative about Donald Trump that hasn't already been saturated in an American psyche. So here's the thing. There's going to be almost nothing new that they can pull out on Donald Trump. I'm sure there's going to be something, but I don't expect to have an October surprise with Donald Trump. There's almost nothing new that you could pull out with Hillary Clinton, but she has things hanging over her head that does give you the possibility of an October surprise. But realistically, we're talking about two people who have been fully exposed to the American population for a very long time, and we're in a competition to see which one can be least repugnant to the American population. And the Democratic Party, Hillary Clinton and her surrogates are at the point where they believe that this competition can be won based on making Donald Trump look bad. This is what I'm trying to say. You can't make somebody like Donald Trump look worse than he already does, worse than he already has over the last 7 months since he came out the gate, guns blazing, calling Mexicans rapists and murderers, and perhaps some of them are good people, but they're sending us their worst. Since that speech, you can't make Donald Trump look any worse than he already looks. And that's the game that Hillary Clinton and her team plays. That's the game that they play on a regular. That's the game that they played against Bernie Sanders. Against Bernie Sanders, they have tried to draw an equivalency between Hillary Clinton's character and Bernie Sanders' character. They have tried to make Bernie Sanders look as though he's not honest, even though he's considered, if you look at the exit polling across most of the states, primaries and caucuses, he is considered to be the most trustworthy. But still, they did everything they could. The Hillary Clinton's team did everything they could to try to make Bernie Sanders look as dishonest and as untrustworthy as Hillary Clinton, because that is the political game. And so everyone is expecting, they're fully planning on, they've already rolled out this fight against Trump, fully using identity politics, and they're betting the house on this. That's what I want to talk about. They're betting everything on this. They are betting they're betting the entire White House on this. They're betting America's future on this. Like, I think at some point, this morning when I told my wife that Donald Trump was the Republican nominee, that it was she said to me that the Republican Party needed an intervention. At this point, after today, looking at them rolling out their full plan, I think the Democratic Party needs an intervention, because they are betting America's future on trying to convince enough Americans that Donald Trump is actually worse than what people already think he is, because that's what's necessary. People already think Donald Trump is, I don't have a better word right now, but a dick. People already think that Donald Trump is a dick, and so they can't make him look any worse. But what they can do, what Donald Trump can do, is try to convince you that Hillary Clinton, and I don't think it's going to take a lot of convincing, Donald Trump is going to wage a character war against Hillary Clinton like we have never seen. You think the last 25 years have been bad on Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump is coming out blazing on Hillary Clinton's character. I think he's already given her a nickname. He's already given her a nickname of Dishonest Hillary or something like that. And here's the thing. That's going to stick, because that's Hillary's reputation already. Somebody has to grab the DNC by the head and shake them and help them wake up and realize you don't want to have Hillary versus Trump. And I'm trying to give this as a piece of advice, right? So let's say we get stuck with Hillary Clinton. How do we not get stuck with a President Trump? I know some people say they would rather Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton. That's problem number one. You have some Americans who are ready, and I'm not even just talking about Republicans. There are some Democrats who are ready for a President Trump way before they would ever want a President Hillary Clinton. Do you understand how unpopular you have to be for people to rather Donald Trump over you? I don't think they understand. I don't think a crooked Hillary, thank you. It's crooked Hillary is the nickname that they've given, that Donald Trump has given Hillary Clinton already. And I don't think they realize how effective this will be against Hillary Clinton because of her reputation of being dishonest, of being crooked, of doing things, always having to change her mind, always having to reverse course, always saying that she misspoke. She has earned this reputation. No matter how much the New York Times is going to try to tell you that Hillary Clinton is the most trustworthy politician, she has earned this reputation. Look at the transcripts. I have like 6 things to talk about tonight, but this intervention, I'm holding an intervention for the Democratic Party right now. Matter of fact, I'm holding an intervention for America, because if they run Hillary Clinton and they run this campaign, this identity politics campaign against Donald Trump using Hillary Clinton, and if they are banking on trying to make Donald Trump looks so bad that Hillary Clinton no longer looks that bad, we will lose the White House to Donald Trump. Not even to the Republicans, right? This is a brand new era. We're not going to lose the White House to your standard GOP. We would be losing the White House to Donald J. Trump. That, my friends, is why we have to have an intervention and wake them up and help them to realize we're not dealing with someone. Think about it in terms of marginal increases or marginal gains, right? With Bernie Sanders, he overwhelmingly had a reputation of being honest, being consistent, being truthful, standing for what he believes, meaning what he says, saying what he means, and being consistent for the last 30 years. That's where he was. Now, could they knock him down a little bit from his high plateau? That's what they've been doing consistently, making him out to be a racist. He doesn't like black lives, making him out to be a misogynist, and so they knocked the edge off of him, right? They knocked some of the gloss off of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders actually helped in some regards, but mainly it was a smear campaign against Bernie Sanders, and it worked. It has worked. That's because he had somewhere to go down from. He was high enough in his trustworthy ratings. He was high enough in his approval ratings to actually have somewhere he can go down. You cannot go further down than Donald Trump already is. So what good can a smear campaign do? What good would a smear campaign do for somebody who already is considered to be repugnant, but that has not stopped him? Okay, I don't know how many ways I could say the same thing twice. Number one, you cannot run an identity politics game against Donald Trump for many reasons. The first reason is because it has not worked yet. And because you're running an identity politics game against Donald Trump using someone who is almost as untrustworthy and almost disliked as much as Donald Trump. And so it becomes a comparison of two people, not just a profile in how disgusting Donald Trump is. It becomes a comparison between Donald Trump is a dick, Hillary Clinton is a crook. I don't like either one of them. So first of all, you're going to see low voter turnout. Then second of all, you're going to have people making calculated decisions saying, I would rather the asshole that Donald Trump is than the crook that Hillary Clinton is. You're going to lose some people there. Then you also are going to lose that 33%. Let's shave off about 13%. You'll lose 20% of those people that support Bernie Sanders that said that under no circumstances will they ever support Hillary Clinton. Factor all that in, and this masterful strategy that everyone is promoting today of making Donald Trump out to look like a racist, misogynist, xenophobic asshole will not work. And we're not just talking about primaries anymore. We're talking about the White House. We're talking about the fact that if this strategy that they're banking and betting the entire House, they're going all in with this strategy. If this strategy doesn't work, we'll be looking at President Donald Trump.